Hi everyone, Cam Roberts here and Steve Plummer. Steve, thanks for joining the business broadcast again.
Hi everyone, hey Cam, how you going?
Now we like to jump on every week at 12:30 on a Thursday just to add some value to our community of members inside our Business Insiders Facebook group and anyone else that's watching online. So thanks for joining, thanks for tuning in. Now Steve, do you want to tell the folks what we're talking about today?
Well, I could, but I have forgotten the title, Cam, so you might just jump in there. I think you wrote it down, I didn't, right?
It's the classic rookie move. No, it's the 6 ways to boost your business with great copywriting and marketing automation. So there you go.
There you go. So, folks, 6 ways to boost your business with great copywriting and marketing automation.
Yeah,
see, right. I had it down pat on the second take. See,
from 2 grumpy old men that are losing their minds.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, thanks for joining the Grumpy Old Men broadcast.
Yeah. Hey, yeah. Welcome
Thanks
to
for joining the Grumpy Old Men broadcast
already. So that's great. If you're watching us live and you're enjoying the content, just drop us a comment, and that'd be cool. And if you're watching the replay, drop replay. That'd be awesome as well, just so we know whether you're watching the live or the replay. So, Steve, I guess we should jump into it because we like to keep these short and sweet. What's the first thing that we're going to talk about today about boosting your business with copywriting?
Yeah, so it's a really important one. It's one that people overlook, but it is one that when I say it, you're going to go, oh, that again? But please hear me out because this is important, and I still see this mistake made in lots and lots of copy that I critique, right? The number one thing is headlines and getting them right. If you know, your copy can be ordinary and still work okay if you've got a great headline. Now I'm not advocating sloppiness. I'm not advocating you do anything that just like that. But if you put your time into your headlines, it will pay off, right? Because if you don't get them at hello, you don't get them at hello. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, let's just take online searches, right? Now, no one gets up and searches for your business. It just doesn't happen, right? Your headline must address, and if we're talking about, online copy, we're talking somewhere between 5 and 10 words. Okay, so a website headline has to address the motivation for the buyer. So what is the solution that they are searching for? And again, you think of yourself when you're, we're going through at the moment bathroom renovations. And so obviously we've got lots of websites opened about bathroom renovation stuff, right? And when it says, John Smith renovations, bathroom renovations, well, I don't really care about that. I don't care what your name is. So always have your headlines biased towards the motivation of the buyer. So the solution that you sell, right? That's what people are looking for, and do it in as short a space as possible. If you can get it done in 2 words, do it in 2 words. If you can get it done in 5 to 10 words, great. Offline, you've got a little bit more leeway in terms of space, but online, let's face it, even when in our newsfeed, Cam, on social media, it is seconds, 2, 4, let's call it 3 for argument's sake. You've got to get them, right? Your name doesn't get them. The solution that they're looking for. So jumping back
to John Smith Plumbing, if someone's got John Smith Plumbing as a headline, what do you think would be a better headline for a plumber?
Well, what are people looking for plumbers want, Cam?
A clean plumber.
Yeah, they do. They want their taps to stop leaking. They want, and again, it does depend what segment of the market you're in. If you're a roofing plumber versus a repair type person, it's whatever the market wants. So it would be, things like, job done right first time, no plumber's crack, maybe. Boom, if I could say that. So it's got to be what is motivating the buyer to look for,
it's really
for your service.
The headline, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. The solution to their problem, the motivation behind them looking. And that's a fundamental that cuts across every single media.
Yeah, right. So what are they looking for? Like what's in it for them, right?
Yeah, totally. But in 5 to 10 words, the thing that they see, it's really got to go bang. That's me. I need that solution. And I've mentioned this before as well. You want to make sure there's incomplete information in there. Okay, so there's curiosity there that forces them to read on to get more about the solution that they want.
Yeah, so they got to go further down the page. So the headline really sells the rest of the read.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's got to stop them in their tracks and then motivate them to move, to read on further.
Yeah,
Doesn't do
That's
those two things. It doesn't matter how good your copy, how good your images are, how good your SEO is, etc., etc. If it doesn't do those two things, forget about it.
Yeah, that's really good. So is there anything else there on headlines you want to share, Steve?
Oh, I could talk on headlines for days, Cam, but I'm conscious of time. So let's go one step further then and talk about split testing, because that's always something people ask about in terms of split testing. So an A/B split test, for instance. So how do we translate that the headline concept into a split test?
Yeah, that's a good question, and it's one that we were covering off this morning on one of our coaching calls, Steve, with our clients. And it was like, how do you do an A/B split test? And if we look at, say, a Facebook ad, how a Facebook ad is set up, if we just draw two ads, what you have in a Facebook ad, a desktop version, is you have an area where you've got some copy up here. And what happens with this copy, Steve, as you know, but some people don't know, is you get a little preview copy, and they've got to click on it before they read the rest of the text, right? And then under that, then you've got the picture, which takes up a good size of the ad space until they click it open. And then you've got the headline down here, which is kind of weird because it's not a headline, it's at the bottom, and then you've got a button over here. And so what we were talking about this morning was this headline here, which is you don't want to change too many things with an A/B split test on an ad or a headline. So if you were testing something over on Facebook, for instance, testing an ad set, what you really want to do is you want to keep everything the same. You want to keep the picture the same. You want to keep the copy above the picture the same. You want to keep the button the same. You want to keep the back end audience the same, but you just change one thing. And that could be just changing that one thing would be the headline. And that would be the correct way to do an A/B split test, because then you know what the difference was between the two. So this would be the A headline over here, and this would be the B headline over here. And what's going to happen, Steve, is after the folks run this test with a smaller budget, they'll see a winner, and then they'll be able to do one of two things. They could put their full budget on the winner, or they could run the test again, Steve, and they could just test one more thing. So they might run another A/B split test against the winner, and again, using the same formula, but this time instead of changing the copy, maybe they'll change the picture and use a different picture, right? But keep the same headline that was the winner last time and the same button as last time. And so what you're really testing each time, Steve, is when you do an A/B split test, you just want to test one thing at a time. Otherwise, you don't know what result was the best one. You don't know what that one thing was that made the difference. So if you change, say, the picture and the headline at the same time when you're testing these two, you don't really know whether it was the picture that got the uptick or whether it was the headline that got the uptick. So it's super important. Just change one thing at a time whenever you do any sort of split testing, Steve.
Yeah. I think the important thing too, Cam, is not to put your own biases on it, because you never know. You never know what is going to work, right? I mean, sure, you have the fundamentals in place and you do everything right, but you still don't know whether it will be a happy picture that gets your market at this particular time or a sad picture. Whether it'll be a benefit headline or a fear headline, for instance. You don't know. You could guess, and if anyone says, I know which is going to work, they're just guessing, because you don't know. The market will always tell you. So it's a really important one. Just do one thing at a time, change one thing so you can track exactly what causes the bump or the lessening in the result that you get. Yeah,
that's good. So that changes gears to the next thing, Steve. And what's the next thing you want to bring up that's going to help people boost their business?
Yeah, I just wanted to talk a little bit about sales, Cam. This is probably, I'm leaning more towards face-to-face selling. And it's the whole thing about making the customer feel special. And especially I think in, these really tough times, the more you can do something special for someone, the more it puts them in a positive frame of mind and a likelihood to say yes.
Yeah, right.
You know, that's the real, because, you know, we all know buying is an emotional thing. So what can you do in your business, in your selling process, to make someone feel that special? You know, we all want to feel special. We all want some recognition in some way. I'll just give you a recent example. I was on the phone to a great telemarketer from a carpet cleaning company, and you know, the line was, you know, we've got vans in your area. And I thought, well, that's only because I will say yes to a carpet clean that a van comes out. But you know, that was still the script that she was using, and she was really good. And part of her making me feel special is, well, because you're a past customer, you know, this time, because we've got guys in the area, we don't have to come out again. You know, you can get I think it was lounge room carpets clean for, I don't know, $89. It's normally 120, whatever the number was, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And you know, if you want to do pest control while they're there, you know, that normally costs 250. But you know, again, because you're a customer of ours, you know, we can get that down to 180 for you, or whatever it was. So, and she did the math for me, all up. You know, that's a saving of across those two services. You know, and you know, we're not offering this every day, and You know, nice copy all the way through. But that sense of, well, you're doing something special for me, opened up the reciprocity kind of door. So wherever you can in your sales process, if you can make your customer feel that sense of specialness, you know, then you've got a much better chance for success. Now, I think the obvious question is, well, does that mean I have to discount all the time? Well, no, not necessarily. And when you're looking at a strong offer, you've probably got two options, haven't you? You bring the price down, or you increase the value and keep the price at where it was.
Right.
And, you know, again, what's going to work better? I have no idea. You have to test that both of those things, you know, for your particular market at that particular time. So wherever you can make your customer, your prospect, the person who is likely to buy, feel special, you've got a much better chance of success. And, you know, we could get into things like, you know, creating a yes momentum in your sales process and all those sorts of things. But the key thing for me, I just got off the phone after that call and just went, yeah, that was pretty good, you know, and I sort of reflect on it. Why was that good? Because, okay, we kind of needed the pest control and the carpets done, and I was getting it for a deal, for you know, a special deal. You know, and so wherever you can, make them feel special. You give them, I call it in copy, give them a copy cuddle. You know,
that's lovely.
you know, so you know, and it's a bit of that copy click of, you know, you deserve. You know, because and again, there's an extension of that, because you're a previous customer, because you're, you know, we're in the area. You know, you deserve something special from us, and it's it works. You know, I mean, I write this stuff all the time, right? And so, I mean, I look at sales stuff all the time, and but that stuff works, and it works on someone who knows what's going on, right?
Excellent. Now, I could probably add to that, because if you're going to make people feel special, like, you know, in any list, there's different segments of the market. So, you know, when you use something like marketing automation to help you do that, you can actually have like 3 different buckets, Steve, and those 3 different buckets of people, or could be 5, could be 10, but usually, you know, there's 3 or 4 main buyer personas that you have. And so as you reach out to those buyer personas, they're all going to have slightly different needs. So, Steve, you might have been in this bucket over here when they called, you know, and you might have been buyer persona C, but they might have made a different offer.
Call it grumpy old
grumpy
men.
Old men. Like that. Yeah, that's us. You know, that's me and Steve. We're over here. We're the grumpy old men, and we're in bucket C. But bucket B might have been the, you know, the mums. You know, whatever. Okay, and then bucket A might have been, you know, grandparents. It's the nana pops, right? And so depending on who they were calling, and in your email copy as well, and in your telephone scripts, whatever you're using, the offer could be slightly different depending on who you're calling, depending on your buyer persona. So you've got to really nail your buyer persona, know who they are, and then based on who they are, needs, and then you can give them the correct copy cuddle. Because a nan and pop might want a different type of copy cuddle to, you know, a stay-at-home mum or a working mum, who might want a different copy cuddle or a different offer or bonus or deal or made to feel special than a grumpy old man, right? Middle-aged man. So, you can do this really well with your marketing automation, Steve, and create, different campaigns that are specifically created by tagging certain groups of people inside your automation. And these messages that you create, these marketing messages, often they're very similar with just one or two tweaks, because it's just speaking to those particular types of buyer personas.
Yeah, no, that's nice, Cam. All right, mindful of time, let's push on. So the fifth thing of the six, again, I've forgotten the title of, so Cam, you might just
ways
quickly,
to boost your business.
There you go. You might just fill that in for me. Thank you very much. Look, the last one I've got, and again, you might be going, well, no, really? But it's keep learning. Learn something new every day if you can. Learn something new every week. Commit to that, because our business and even our minds, it really is that old saying of, you're like a tree, you're either growing or you're dying. So, I mean, folks listening to this, well done. You're out there learning something different. You're opening your mind, even if it is to help you remember things that you've already learned in the past. But we are all of us, and all of our businesses is like a tree. We are either growing or dying. I have at least 2 paid newsletters that I'm part of. I was in 2 high-end masterminds. I'm now in 1. And I'm buying books all the time. I'm on so many people's email lists and so forth. But the key point is not a virtue signal from me, but it is about learning stuff every day. And I think that is really, really important, because we're all very close to our businesses. We're all very close to our lives, and our lives are really, really busy these days, right? I mean, the COVID lockdown aside, but we are all really busy. So if you are looking outside of having your head down, you've got more of a chance of picking up new things. And, sometimes it's just applying one little thing that makes a difference. And so, and again, this isn't a pitch to come and join one of our programs, but it is a general success principle that I think is really, really important to have reiterated time and time again, because we are so close to what we do because we're often really busy. We forget to look outside of ourselves. And that is I think, a mistake that we don't want to fall into the habit of, just staying too close to what we do. So keep learning, keep growing, keep opening your mind to new things. And actually, I wrote about this the other day, this great quote from John Carlton, the great copywriter. He said, we're all juggling a wacky mess of emotional, intellectual, physical, and metaphysical balls every moment we breathe. And it's worth remembering, we all drop balls all the time. It's baked into life. So we make mistakes, we try things, and those are the great learning moments. But it does help if we've got someone to bounce ideas off, either
that's really good.
Either via recording or a live thing like this, or via a group that you're part of. So learn something new every day and commit to that, at least one new big thing every week.
Excellent. That's really good. And one thing I'll just add to that, Steve, is success leaves clues. So when you're looking for a coach or a mentor, look for someone that's already getting the results that you want to achieve, and just be very, very careful about picking your coach or mentor. Make sure you do some background checks on them, if you like. There's so many pretend gurus out there, so many people that, as you know, Steve, they go and do a Facebook marketing course or a copywriting course, and, within a day, they're all of a sudden they're an instant guru, and you see them on Facebook the next day advertising their services, right? So you want to make sure someone that's had, make sure you're picking coaches and mentors that have had results that you want to achieve, and are getting results for their clients as well. So that's really important, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a good point, Cam. Do one course and call yourself an entrepreneur. You might want to just rethink, hooking up with them.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Steve, we're almost out of time. We like to keep these short and sweet. So that's been about 20 minutes so far. So we better jump off and get back to being grumpy old men again.
Yeah. Yeah, and proudly so, Cam, right? No hiding behind anything here. No smoke and mirrors. Yeah.
So, folks, thanks very much for clicking through and watching the live stream, or watching the replay if you're watching the replay. To find out more about what Steve and I do, we've set up a website. It's called Business Reinvented. We're giving people a 35-day game plan for your marketing. So if you're interested in finding out more about if your marketing's working or not working in your business, just go to businessreinvented.com.au. There's a form there that you can fill out. Steve and I will jump on a call with you. we'll have a look at what's working, what's not, and we'll actually give you a real plan that you can implement in your business.
That's correct. Actionable steps you can take from that meeting and use the very next day. Totally.
Absolutely. All right. Well, thanks again, Steve. We'll chat really soon. Thanks everyone.
Cam. See you, everyone.
Bye. Grumpy old men can't turn their Facebook Live off, Steve.
Classic.
You got to love technology. Here we go. All right, folks. See you again.
Classic.